Okay, I guess it's my place to go first. Good morning, everybody. I'm Gary Felton, the department head for entomology, and I've actually been in this job for 22 years. So I think I've sort of gained a real appreciation of our department, our graduate students, and our alums. And what I want to do today is just briefly give you some facts about our graduate program and some observations that I've had over the years. So I'd like to be able to share screen here. So Natalie mentioned, some of the important reasons for studying insects and the observations I've had about why students, come to entomology, and it's usually because they have a passion about health. And health is obviously a very broad topic, and our students that have applied, a lot of them are very concerned about human health and the impacts that insects can have. Malaria is one of the major diseases of the world, and we still don't have that conquered. Food security is another huge issue that we're facing, and insects play both a very positive role in food as well as a negative effect on food production. And finally, as Natalie mentioned, insect decline is a real concern. Those of us in entomology have a strong commitment to environmental health, whether it's figuring out ways to reduce the role of pesticides or to enhance biodiversity, enhance pollination, et cetera. But typically, the students that apply to the program and succeed are passionate about at least one of these areas of health. So the next question is sort of why Penn State entomology? We've grown to be, I think, one of the top departments in the country. I think pretty much everybody would agree that you surveyed entomologists at Penn State would be among the top 5, certainly, of entomology departments in the country. We are about 3rd or 4th in the number of graduate students that we have. We typically have between 50 and 65 graduate students advised by our faculty, which is, I think, a pretty good, robust number. I think another sort of key characteristic of Penn State entomology is that we're a very collaborative department, a very interdisciplinary department. If you happen to look at the publications of our faculty, you'll find that we often publish together. So there's a lot of collaboration that occurs. A lot of that collaboration is sometimes driven by students and their desire to gain extra expertise or learn new skills. So they may work with other faculty as well. So it's a very common characteristic of Penn State entomology, and actually Penn State as an institution. It's the most collaborative university I've ever been in, and I've been at 5 different universities. Another thing about our entomology graduate program is it's both diverse and global. We typically have about 35 to 40% international students. We usually have maybe cohorts of students from different regions. Right now, we have a cohort of students from Africa, from South Asia, as well as Latin America. Having an international component to our department is very important to us. We also have a diverse department of students, domestic students as well. So it's a very diverse and global environment. And in fact, I realized in the last 10 years, our graduate students have conducted research in every continent of the world except for Antarctica. So the opportunities to do international research are really exist at Penn State. And one of the reasons for this is that we have these programs called dual title degrees, where you can get an entomology degree plus another dual title. And those 2 opportunities right now are in the area of international agriculture, which has actually helped facilitate a lot of this global research that our students have been engaged with. And more recently, we're adding microbiome science as a dual title. So this is a very unique opportunity at Penn State where you can get an entomology degree plus a dual title degree in an area that may be very relevant for your interest in research. Typically during the year, we get about 60 to 105 applicants per year. That's what we've ranged for the last 5 years. Most of our applicants to our graduate program are, don't have much entomology in their background at all. They're usually biology majors, environmental science, or other life science degrees. So that's not a hindrance at all. In fact, a lot of us prefer students that have those backgrounds before they come to graduate school. One of the things that I remember when I was applying for graduate school, of course, this is quite a few years ago, but I was concerned about how many schools I could apply to because of the application fees. I just, it reached a point that I can't keep applying to more schools, even though some of those I may have, been very happy to go to. So one of the things that we did at Penn State was we eliminated the cost for applications to our graduate program. So we pay the application fees so that every student has an opportunity. They're not limited by finances in order to apply to our program. The other thing we've done more recently is that we've dropped the graduate record exam requirement. And again, this is in part because it provides, I think, opportunity for students to apply to our program. Graduate record exams do cost a fair amount of money. We also found out that it is not a very effective tool for assessing the quality of our applicants. So we've reduced costs that way to enhance opportunity for students. Typically, we admit 10 to 15 students every year. We never admit a student without funding for their program. So we support our graduate students for the length of their program, whether it's a master's or a PhD. That funding can come from a variety of sources. It can be from grants that faculty have to conduct research that includes graduate student research. We have a pot of money at the department level that we can use to fund graduate students. We also are very competitive in getting university fellowships for our applicants to our program, so that's been successful. And a handful of our students have their own funding through the National Science Foundation or USDA fellowships, et cetera. And then some of our international students come in on Fulbright fellowships or fellowships through their own country. But like I said, in every case, we fund our graduate students. Tuition is too expensive at Penn State. We pay the tuition and we pay a stipend that ranges for master's students. It's in the low 30,000s, and PhD students can range from 32 to about 38,000 or more. So we pay a stipend, we cover the tuition cost. As you'll learn a lot today from some of our graduates is that we have, I think we have very good career placement for our graduate students that finish the program. And I think one of the really sort of unique aspects of entomology is that there are a lot of different career options that people don't necessarily think about. Places where they do hire entomologists. And in the last 10 years, these would be sort of the major areas where our graduates have found employment. Some go to faculty positions. They may be in faculty positions at small colleges, small teaching colleges, and some are at large research-based institutions. So there's a wide range of places our graduates go. Some of those are in biology departments, some are in entomology departments. A lot of our students graduate and go into government jobs, whether it's federal, state, or local. You'll hear about some of that. Industry jobs, we do have a good number of our students go into industry and find rewarding careers there. In the last few years, we've had a couple of students that have pursued careers in science writing, either as a freelance writer or we have one who works for the Voice of America as a science writer. And those are areas that they found interesting after they completed their degrees. And it's a sort of a unique area, but our graduates can find those types of jobs. And then finally, we have some of our graduates in working for nonprofit organizations, private companies. We've had a couple of students that have started their own companies and have had success in doing that. So lots of different career opportunities in entomology. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get such a very good applicant pool every year and a very diverse applicant pool. So that's pretty much what I have. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions now or in a few minutes after Jared talks about the ecology program. But like I said, I'm passionate about our graduate program because I've seen it grow and develop, and I think we have one of the best in the country, and we continue to try to get better. And with that, I'm happy to consider any questions you might have.